this virus.
Because there is an argument that actually these local lockdowns generally don't work nearly as well as we hoped they would at the beginning of all of this. Professor Mark Woolhouse, who's a member of one of your government's advisory groups, said this week. He said it's profoundly disappointing that 6 months into this pandemic, having rejected every alternative proposed, we keep coming back to lockdown, a strategy that is visibly failing around the world.
Well, unfortunately, that analysis it doesn't learn the lessons of recent history. We've seen, firstly, we do know that lockdowns work. They are our last line of defence, and we do not want to do it. But of course they work because we saw it work in the spring. Secondly, we have taken local action, and that has brought cases right under control in places like Luton and Herefordshire and Norfolk.
Let me ask you about Oldham, where you've had a very tough series of local restrictions now for 4 weeks, and where the rate of infection in that time has doubled.
Well, clearly the enforcement needs to go further and needs to be stronger. But the idea that we should just let this all go and we should just don't worry, we can, it'll be fine this time round. We know from history that is wrong. And what I'd say is that...
I'm sorry, I just keep picking up, because there are so many advisors who don't agree with you about this. Graham Medley, who's one of your chief government modellers, says that local measures do not appear to have prevented exponential increase in infection. Is he wrong as well?
Well, the question is how tough and how firmly enforced local measures are. I mean, it's interesting because I always talk about being guided by the science rather than following the science. And you've just read out 2 quotes from 2 different scientists, one saying go harder and one saying go softer. And my job is to synthesize...
I think they're both saying that the lockdowns don't work, is what they're really both saying.
One saying it doesn't work, one saying it hasn't worked because it hasn't been tough enough. What I have to do is listen to the scientific advice, which is brought together by the chief medical officer, the chief scientific advisor, all these different disparate scientific voices, and then I have to make a judgment along with the rest of the government.
You've got your dashboards and all the lights are going red